Hi everyone, welcome to this talk. I see people are already starting to gather up here. Let's just wait a few moments until everyone can get in. Okay, I guess we can start. So, hi everyone, welcome to another talk. Um, you are here to hear Sanmitra Chitte. She's currently the Dean at School of Management at the World University of Design. She's an optimistic, futuristic designer thinker and believes that design is the differentiator for any product, service, or institution under the sun. Today, she's gonna talk to us about working design into strategy and innovation. So, welcome, Samitra.
Thank you so much, Camilla. I hope you all can hear me well enough. And I'm going to start with sharing my presentation. Yeah, I hope you all can see my presentation. Before I start, let me tell you that my presentation is not very visual because, as you see, I am going to talk on design and how does it make an impact into strategy and innovation, and how would you calculate the return on investment. What has been happening is, I let me introduce myself first. I am a polymath, as says my profile. But what does that mean? It means that I have been through different kinds of education and different kinds of work schedules and work structures. And currently, I'm working into design management. I have been working as a designer. I have set up my own firm and got clients, worked into visual communication, brand packaging, and product, and then move to go and understand how does it dwell into design management. So very important point that we all face every day is, how does design make an impact into not only corporates but into individual lives, into design businesses, into design, and into creating of new products. Okay. Now, when it comes to that, how does it make an impact into innovation? So I'm going to move ahead into this presentation. I'm just going to try to define design from my end. I'm sure design definition is different for different people. It could be brand identity, it could be, say, cover design, it could be illustrations, it could be designing products. But what is the most important part of design? The most important part of design is coming up with a solution to a given problem and looking after the problem. What is the problem? Actually identifying it, putting it up properly enough to be understood by people, by stakeholders who are going to work towards solving this problem. Okay, that is the basic. That is the basic thing that design does. Okay, so to work with design, now design is everywhere, we see it everywhere, and it has been working right from where you sit to where you work to what application you have on your phone, or how does your spectacle function, or how does your smartwatch function, to the roads on you walk on, the place that you stay. Everything is design. Now, what is design management then? Because that is what I'm going to talk on. I'm going to talk on not how to design, because I presume that yes, we have a very good lineup into this conference, and there are talks where they're going to talk about how they have been designing and what have they been designing for the given time. But I want to talk about design management. Have you heard of this term called as design management? Although I cannot really see the questions right over here, but I'm presuming that you have some and you may post them here. what exactly is design management? When you look at it, you feel that it may be something like designers work in work in one compartment, managements work in another compartment, and maybe these people go and understand business and work towards business, and designers work in a different possible way. But that's not how it works. What is design management? Is design management is more of design facilitation, helping the designers to design, not by actually doing the design, not by actually getting on the skill based, talent based design, but by doing the allied possible activities which will help the designers to come up with better designers. Now, how does this work? If this is an example that I always give is in case that you were trying to get something made by anyone, okay, be it say advertising, be it say logo, be it some dress design, there is a specific way that you probably deal with the designer, or you probably communicate with the designer, and you intuitively decide that okay, maybe if I want to get something done on a very basic level, maybe you're not the design manager, maybe you don't work in a corporate, but you were just wanting to get something very small done, you give a buffer time, you give a buffer time for the designer to sit work through. You cannot really stand there next to the designer and get it done. That is not how it works, because designers love to work in their own world, they love to work in their own silos, they love to work with their own imagination and move it through. So this structure wherein a person who understands design and then utilizes this understanding of design into business is called as design facilitation. What else does the design manager do? The design manager also helps the designer with design research, say giving an experience design inputs, service design inputs, design management inputs. The design manager also helps in design marketing, managing the project, basically doing anything and everything beyond design. If you have seen designers, there are designers who have set up their own businesses and learn business slowly and slowly as in how they were designing. But as and when you talk to them, you'll understand that they would actually rather like to do design than to work and market their business, or probably set up those entrepreneurial processes or create awareness about their project. So this allied service is something that the design managers do. Okay. Now, design managers did, I just explained as to what do design managers do, but then how do design get into business management? If you look at business management, what has been happening is we've had these processes, we have these theories of business management as to there are these very intricate processes that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, wherein you have to be doing some processes well enough so that business runs good enough. There has to be a return on investment. What is ROI? It's a return on investment. You are investing your money, you're investing your time, you're investing your resources, basically investing your talent and skill into any business, right? But where did design come into this play? This design as a verb, as a doable, as an action came into the field of business management with the invent of IDEO coming up with processes which are putting in which are also called as design thinking. Now, this is a favorite model that I generally use, which is way a little bigger than the typical small 5 step process. And design thinking is today employed everywhere, and at times it is also a word that is really being misused to a very, very big level. And management people have started adopting to design thinking. So if you look at it, when we started this discussion, I told you about what is design. Design is about understanding what is the problem, right? So to understand the problem, this is what the designers have been doing, and design management happened to pick cues from the designers and work it through likewise and put it in a process. So this is a process which has been given by, say, it is given by Stanford, it is given by University of Virginia, by Jean Litka, by say ITO, by there is a double diamond process also. But this works the best, wherein the person goes ahead, understands, the stakeholders go ahead, understand what exactly is the problem. How do they understand it? They actually get into the shoes of the of the scenario or the environment which is going through that problem. They understand it, they define it across, okay, and then afterwards, after they define it well enough, there is an increase in the scope of people who work towards the project. In that increase of scope of into the people, there are stakeholders who also probably contribute by helping to understand the problem, helping to define the problem, then creating ideations, creating prototypes. After that, ideations are created, those are filtered, prototypes are created. These prototypes are tested across and implemented to come up with a feedback. The feedback is again worked upon, and there are reiterations, and eventually a design is finalized. Now, when you actually look at it, what happens is this process looks very linear. This process looks like okay, any business can simply adopt to it and work it through. But now imagine that every single process is going to involve people, is going to involve the cost of those people working together, it is going to involve the logistics, it is going to involve the infrastructure, it is going to involve the time that is given by all of this together, and hence all this is going to involve monetary inclusion in every single step. Now, when you include monetary inclusions in every single step, there'll be a calculation that will flow. There'll be some XYZ amount going for the time, the duration, the resource cost. By resource, I mean human personnel cost, personnel's cost. There will be a there will be a cost that will go for say empathize step. There will be a cost that will go for define step. There will be a cost that will go for ideate, a cost for prototype, test, implement, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that is how the project cost then is calculated. It is calculated per amount of resources, per amount of time into the infrastructure and into whatever logistics that is given available. Now, if there is a real-time designer being here and doing this. I was just listening to the earlier speaker, wherein the speaker was very confirm on telling that I am a perfectionist and I want to get something done according to what I feel is the perfect. I'll keep redoing it. I'll keep perfecting it to a level that I feel it is great enough to go to the client. This specific idea of reiterating, of re-ideating, coming up with a prototype, all that is the designer's forte to do. Now, if this amount of time that is given to the personnel, the designer, the cost per hour of the designer, the ideation cost, all that, if it is repeated and re-repeated and re-repeated, what happens is the cost will then go on increasing. This is where the design manager will have to take a very specific, wise, strategic decision as to what could be the possible cost. And here is where the intuition plays in. So this is where design marries business, where the business person also understands what is the time, what is the cost that the design could take to actually go through this design thinking process and not make it look like any other process across. Okay. Having said this, I hope I have made my point clear as to how does design find its way into normal business management, and how does design thinking create a cost as well as inclusion as well as a problem solution into normal business. Now, if we go in a separate direction, which is creation of business into design. Now, I have taken this from an InVision report which was just recently released, wherein it's been said that for, like I was saying, there are many designers who were trying to make it, who were trying to come up with an entrepreneurial venture, or who were probably trying to work together to come up with a design business. What happened was they learned the business lessons on the go. Now, when that happened, when they learned on the go, there was not only time invested out of their design schedule for this, but there was also a lot of trial and error that happened eventually to probably perfectionize or set a good benchmark for themselves when it came to business. Okay, so this has been put up in the Envision report that designers who are business aware, who understand business, who understand return on investment, monetary inclusions, funding, etc., have more success in the industry. That is simply because they can probably study what has been done by the other business people. Now, the world needs, of course, the world needs more designers anytime, but they need more successful designers which are involved in strategic decisions, and hence they should learn the language of business. Understanding the vocabulary, not only for yourself, but also so that the person across the table also understands what is it that you're saying. Tomorrow, if you're going to come up with saying, I followed the Pareto's rule, and that is why there will be a 20% rise into the revenue. Maybe the managers will take some time to understand the Pareto's rule actually immersively. I know today we have Google and we can simply Google and find out this is the Pareto's rule and this is how it works, or this is the Fibonacci sequence, or whatever that may be. But the truth is, only an understanding, a word to word translation, will never equate to an immersive understanding, an understanding where the designer may be able to explain better in a way translate. It may be the same language, but the designer will then be able to translate better as to into the language of business that what exactly is the Pareto's rule, whether it is 80-20% of utilization of the design, then how much is the 20% that you contribute? Converting it into numbers and telling it to the, say, the non-design prejudiced structures of the organization. Okay, and like I said, applying some known methodologies, something that both the designers and the non-designers come on a similar level of understanding, and providing designers with practical steps to develop business acumen faster. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be actually giving you a very small formula as to how do you translate your power of design to your organization in the form of ROI. Okay, before that, let me just clarify a few concepts so that we come up on the same page. I hope it has been followed by now. Now, since we spoke of design, we spoke of how does design find its way into business management. We spoke of how does business find its way into design. Now, where does innovation come into play? Every one of us will agree that innovation is a very abstract concept. Innovation is also something which, yes, there are processes that are followed, but again, it does not really guarantee innovation. It does not really come up with, okay, if I do XYZ steps, I will get a breakthrough innovation. That is not how it works. There are some processes, there are some methodologies like JTBD, there is TRIZ, there is design thinking, there are various methods like that which may be applied but which will still result into a may have an innovation. That is what may happen. So let me just move this ahead. Sorry. Okay. So what happens here is with regards to innovation, with the three types of innovation that we all know. We know what is a sustaining innovation, we know what is enhancing and what is a breakthrough. Now by sustaining, we know that something that whatever the product is existing right now, you see to it that you innovate to a good level so that the product sustains the market, the product stays in the market. And we know the famous examples wherein products or companies did not innovate and they probably have are not existing in the market anymore, or are on the verge of decline. We know the famous example of Nokia. So what happens is if the company does not really innovate, does not really step up to stay in the game by coming up with products, by coming up with inclusions, by plugins, by additions to their current product or their current system, what happens is it becomes irrelevant, it becomes obsolete. So that is why the sustaining innovation is essential. Then comes the enhancing innovation, wherein there is a product already, but you probably enhance it a little bit more. You give it some more extra. Say you add in a new AI system in the car, say because AI is today, or you add in a new way of opening up, say a jam bottle. So these could be enhancing innovations which will be added in. Now, when you go to breakthrough, breakthrough definitely takes a lot of processes to be working across. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of personnel again, and it takes a lot of methodologies to come up with innovation. Now, there are companies who are investing into these kind of innovations. 3M, there is 3M, there is Toyota, there are not only the companies who are associated with, say, automobiles and FMCG, there are banking finance services also who are investing into this. There are these companies who have specific innovation centers, specific innovation development centers across the globe, and they are very few. Now, what are the methodologies that they apply? They look up to design thinking as a methodology because it is similar in structure. There is a process given, but again, that simple part of iteration, of coming up to something that will be perfected, that is taken into consideration as the most important part out there. Identifying the problem, coming up with some ideation, prototype, and then filtering it through, giving it, taking a feedback, and coming up with an iteration, and working through, come to a final product is something that all these industries work into. So today, innovation is more of a oxygen. It is more of something that any company needs to survive on. So there is this combination of design thinking, doing design, then formulation of design strategy, and then conversion into innovation. This is how it actually works. That if there is design where you come up with a problem statement, you come up with what is happening with the problem statement, you come up with various ideations towards it into two ways. Now, design thinking does not happen without design doing. You cannot just write a process, come up with something. It won't help. There has to be a design doing. There has to be ideations. There has to be prototypes created. Only then it makes sense. It creates an innovation ability. Now, this innovation ability, which when we look at it as a corporate, as an individual, as a contributor, could have two kinds of impact. It could have a direct impact and it could be an indirect impact. And this is where we are going to try to figure out that how do we really calculate the return on investment of this innovation ability, which was created because of design strategy, by design doing, and by design thinking. So I've made a very simple formula which probably everyone can adhere to, of course, by taking references from various sites. But this formula can be utilized by any industry, and you, as an individual contributor, also, when you work in a corporate, can probably create a formula for your own team, and then it can be showcased to the say management or to the higher authorities, wherein we still want to translate, or we still want to tell the importance of design strategy into the ROI of everyday business. Okay, it's a very simple formula. You, like I said, I'm just going to go back to the earlier slide. There are two kinds of impact. There's a direct impact and there's an indirect impact. So direct impact would be wherein you just came up with a product which was better, which visibly looked better, which functioned better. It followed the stakeholders were happy, users were happier, there was more sales, and everyone could understand the product better. All that is a very direct impact where everyone understands, okay, the product is improved, there is something new, the car color is changed, there is an AI option, there is, I get an internet connectivity out there, I probably can even go on a, it can go on a cell drive. This is something that I can see right away, I can directly experience. Okay, so this could be a kind of direct impact within your organization. But what could be the indirect impact? And what could be the indirect impact is maybe within the organization, you may reduce the number of processes. Suppose you're filling in a timesheet. Suppose due to your innovation, you reduce the number of time, the steps you fill for the timesheet, or you make the process a little more intuitive. You know, before you understand that I wanted to click on this button and go ahead, it helps you do it. That's a very indirect impact. It's something that is also very silently done. It is something that will not strike you on face, but it has been done, due to which your time is saved, your money is saved. You probably create some new process and you remove some redundant processes. This could be an indirect impact. So what you can do is you have to just go ahead and select what could be the key drivers. Okay, so I've just listed down a few for you to have a look at over here. Say maybe like, see, so there could be an internal external regards to the direct and indirect again. So you could have an increased user productivity, you could have decreased user errors, you could have decreased training costs, you could have gained some savings. Okay, or maybe whatever design life cycle or maybe process life cycle was happening, you probably made some changes to it, and say you had to respond lesser to the users. Similarly, now what could be the external one is you could have decreased customer supports, you could save some money through all of it, you could have reduced training across. And like I said, I have just added one more point to it, that you could add in your own specific to your industry. Maybe if you're working in FMCG, you're designing a toothbrush every day. Maybe you have added a new kind of a bristle to the toothbrush which help into the product to help users better. That will be your direct impact. So you can probably add it to your list. After you do this, what happens is you need to establish benchmarks. By benchmark, I mean is, again, let's stick to the toothbrush example. Suppose you're coming up with a new toothbrush. What happens is you'll have to look up to what is it, who are the competitors that you're looking into. Is your toothbrush reaching the competition? Is it going ahead of the competition? How is it going ahead? Is it going because of the height of the toothbrush? Is it going because the material cost is reduced? Is it going because the marketability is increased? All these benchmarks you have to set, and you have to come up with figures related to the benchmark. Once that happens is you create projections. Now every single benchmark that you produce is going to have some implications. Suppose if you save, say, XYZ, I'm going to talk in rupees here, or okay, let's say dollars, that if I say XYZ dollars per toothbrush, then into 100, into thousands, whatever is your production, that's going to go. And likewise, how much does the competitor make? How much does the market make? That is the data that you'll have to go and pull in. Okay. Now, of course, now everything is not going to be done by one person. It's going to be a team who's going to be working towards the creation of the KPIs, the identification of the KPIs, come up with benchmarks, and then coming up with projections. Once that's done, you come up with the cost. You come up with what could be the estimated cost, what could be the best possible cost, and then likewise decide your break even time. Now this is something that this calculation is something that you can also use if you're looking for generating funds, looking for funds, applying for some kind of a cohort where you're going to take your business idea with your design and then apply. So this ROI structure can be put up there also, where you actually put up a very, very simple one, that upfront cost, that this is how much that, say, $2 I spend in creating a toothbrush. This could be the recurring cost. Say, I need personnel, I need designers, I need to come up with a manufacturing ability out there. Am I going to outsource? Am I going to come up with, say, a new design per 6 months? Then that should be put up. And also, when you're looking into your assumptions, please study what has been the business assumptions earlier and what has been the spending that you have done earlier across. Now, this again, if there's a very different breakthrough product, which also every single product has some or the other clue, some or the other element in the earlier products available. Even if it is an extremely breakthrough product, there are some processes which may be similar, wherein you can pick up the clues from and then estimate cost. Now, once that is done, you come up with the return on investment, and with that return on investment you can apply, not only convince your management, you can apply for funding. You can go ahead, showcase this return on investment to, say, whatever your CAs or your chartered accountants, and also of course take their help in coming up with that. So this will be a very simple formula of coming up with a return on investment of your innovation ability, which was built because of design thinking and design doing into your organization. So I guess here I'd like to end my discussion, or my concept that I was explaining. Maybe next time when we meet, I will discuss design pricing with you, wherein how do you actually price your own design projects. Uh, Camila, can I take up questions now, or was I too fast, or is it?
Yes, we have a few questions for you here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um,
Okay, so can I stop sharing now?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I hope I was not too fast enough, so I'm going to take one question at a time. Do you
So,
think
okay.
to
The
be a
first,
design man? Okay, are you going to read them
oh,
out
you
and then
can
I?
see the questions.
Yes, yes, I can see them.
You can read them then. No
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'm just going to take a little breath. Okay. Hmm. So, do you think to be a design manager, is it better to have a generalist background or a specialist background? Okay, let me answer this in the best way possible. So, thank you, Jessica, for this question. You can be a generalist to be a design manager, because like I said, for a design manager it is not important that you know the talent or the skill of designing, but understanding design is important. You should understand that suppose this is the pen that I'm working with, that this is the nib of the pen, this is how it should close this way. The simple. You should know how is this pen worked upon. Now this goes with one single pen, but if you're looking into product, then that reading, that immersing yourself into those creative thoughts, all that you should be able to do. Maybe you're not skilled enough. Maybe you're not utilizing your pencil every day, and maybe you're not coming up with new designs every day is fine. But you should know what is the difference between a pixel and how much it should be the distance, how much should be the white space. So basically, you should have a good understanding of design principles for sure, not necessarily skill wise. Yeah, should we go to the next question, Camila?
Um, I think that's all the time we had, unfortunately.
Oh, oh,
So don't worry, everyone. We are gonna send the messages, send the questions, and you can answer them, and we'll post the answers on Hovel, our platform.
yeah, that's good.
Okay?
Or I have my LinkedIn also, so you all can connect to me on LinkedIn directly. And thank you so much. Thank you for being here, listening to me through it. I hope it was good enough and makes an impact into your life. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Camila.
Bye.